Go ahead and state your name, please.
Hi, my name is Sue Burrs.
Hi, Sid. Tell me something wonderful about being in your 60s.
Well, what's wonderful is I get to be me. I don't have to be mom. I do have to be grandma, so I have to go there, but they don't live here. Oh, I kind of have to take that back. One did for 5 years. Boy, I can't. Okay, redo. All right, but I do get to be me. Okay, after everything I've been through, I don't have to try and be something else to please somebody else. So I think that's the biggie for me.
And how have your personal relationships changed over the last couple of decades?
Well, I would say people have learned don't ask her if you don't want to know. For one thing, because I'm going to be honest. No, I think they become more sincere. You talk about the real things. When you're young and married, you want to tell everybody all about your husband, and as if they can't figure it out themselves. Then it's all about the babies and the color of poop and the recipes and so forth. People want to talk about things that are not meaningful. I would say especially women because they're busy, well, being about somebody else, not being about themselves. So I think my conversations are instantly real, like when I met you. I mean, it was real from the get-go.
So being real, tell me who you were at age 30.
At age 30, oh my God. Well, I had 3 kids by the time I was 27, but very young into that. By the second kid, I'm like, I can't be this. I can be mom, but I can't be just this. So I went back to school, okay, to Alverno. I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, always. And that's because of my sister Janet, but I can tell you about that. But anyway, so I went back to school, and Allie, the middle one, was 7 weeks old, and she was a preemie. So I had to set my alarm every 2 hours to feed her. Then, get up in the morning, get her and her sister ready, and be in the car by 7:15 to make it to class. So I had to be that. I had to be about something else other than mom. I just knew it wasn't going to be enough for me.
And who are you now? You mentioned obviously you are who you are. Are you your authentic self now? Are you who you want to be now?
I always want to become more, but I'm real now, okay? Since my husband died, I got to be me. Like in my realm, I'm always right. It's like take a vote, so do you want to do this? I'm in. So I go home when I want to, I do what I want to, but my art has come out, and this is me. Art saved my world. It's become my world. My friends are part of that world. What I do with my time is about that world. So yeah, I think this was always me, but I didn't get to be that.
Were you not you when you were married?
I don't think totally. No. No, and if you ask my kids that, they would tell you that. Mom, you would not be an artist had dad lived. For one thing, trashing this beautiful bedroom would have been like heart attack for Mr. OCD. So no, I would have to say absolutely not. I was not me before. No.
What kinds of things are important to you these days?
I think my relationships with friends have become greater than they had been before. Before, if you got together with your women friends, it'd be rare, far between, that sort of thing, because you're raising families. It isn't about you at that point. But now it's more important. And I've always told my kids that you make sure you maintain your female relationships. Those are the ones that are going to be there for you. Those are the ones that are going to listen, going to care, be there right on the spot for you. They're going to understand where you're coming from. You maintain that. So I've got that in my life big time. My family is huge. We're like a very tight unit. And there are, let me see, over 70 verses at this point. Yeah, so a party here is a brawl. It's an absolute brawl. But that's all just vital for me in being with, my docent buddies and the people at my gallery, that it matters nurturing other people to become what they are, especially in art. Don't be fearful of doing it because somebody might not like it. Who cares?
Again, the authentic.
You got to be the real deal.
What about romantic relationships?
I'm kind of at the who cares phase. I've got good male friends. I definitely do. I hang out with my Mike and Mark and Larry group. Yeah, but it isn't about that anymore. I used to seek that. After Steve died, because we were married for 34 years, it was like, I have to have that. That's important. It has to be part of me. But not so much. I don't care.
So love in a romantic relationship is not as important as just being you and having your friends around and your friends supporting you.
Right. It'd pretty much have to smack me in the head that this is the right thing for me. I don't have this sledgehammer, so I really don't care right now.
Yes. How do you think your hopes, dreams, and or expectations have changed over the years
I want more.
for your life?
I want more. After you almost die a few times, you're like laser beam on certain things, and I see a person and I care. I care what they think. I want to know about them. I already know about me. I want to know about them because you become your collection of stories, who's in your life. Sometimes I run into the storytellers. Sometimes those people are the story. That's evolved and changed, and I want that to continue to change, because other people, if you let them in, change you, but you have to decide what's the good you let in and what's the negative you keep out. So those things are more valuable to me now, those insights. Before it was, let's go out for cocktails with that couple, and I'm like, I can't stand her, can't go golfing, why do you have to make me do this? And now I get to decide, no, I'm not spending my time that way. My time is too important.
Because as you said, you've almost died a number of times, so.
Well, right, and Steve was poof, gone. He goes out for a bike ride, I never see him alive again. So you just don't know. So you gotta suck the marrow out. You really do. It's a tad cliche, but it's the truth. You gotta take every situation and take what you can from it and give what you can to it. So that's how things have changed for me, and that's very sincere. Life is more meaningful now.
So your perspective, because you've all this death and dying around you, or the last time your husband passing away and you being ill, your perspective on death and dying sounds like it's changed quite a bit. Do you think about your own death?
No, I can't live that way. There's enough wrong with me where I could be focusing on that, but that's not important. What you get out of time is important. I don't look at, oh my God, this could kill me. Like when other people freak out when I'm that sick, I'm like, I'll be fine. I'm not going to die. And I'm not afraid of that. That's just part of living, that's there. I don't think about it. I don't focus on it. But, when somebody around you is dying, like my sister, who I took care of basically my whole life and watched her die, then it was about her dying. But even when she did die, I didn't look at that as, oh my God, let's focus on Janet's death. I focused on how did she change me, and holy moly, she did. She drove other people crazy because she wouldn't listen to anybody. It'd always be, could you talk to Janet? So, no, death is not, it's not a thing, it's a process.
Because we all know we're going to die, and we all think about it from time to time. And as I say, it's all around us. So, and not even saying focusing on it, like it would be unhealthy to think about it 24/7. But I just think it does enter our minds here and there. As we get older in our 60s, it's nearer to us than obviously it was at age 20 or 30.
No, that's not even on the radar then. You think every stupid thing you do, you're gonna survive, where, your parents are flipping out about don't drink and drive, don't have unprotected sex, don't, you never think that could be you. Now it occurs to you, and that's really a risk, whereas before you wouldn't have given it 2 seconds thought.
Some people have said that reaching this milestone is a kind of a wake-up call to live more life, do more. Some people even go so far as to create bucket lists. I have my own phrase. What do you think about bucket lists?
See, I've always, for about 40 years, call it my drop dead list. It's buckets you can dump over your head and do all those things, and it may not change you. I want to go zip line, or I want to do this or that, okay, but then it's a job done, and what'd you get from it? Well, I don't think that way at all. Not at all. Everything is an experience, and I got to go to Europe a number of times. But to me, you learn something. I came back with different influences than I had before on my art and on what you have to say to somebody else, who have had similar experiences. I've heard 2 people talking about, I went zip lining. Uh-huh. Well, what'd you think? Well, that was fun. Well, okay, and then after that, where do you go? There's nothing else to say. So no, bucket lists to me are foolishness. Sorry.
What about a spiritual kind of bucket list? Is that more important than a physical bucket list?
See, to me, it's a walk. That's a walk that you take through your lifetime. And sometimes that walk, you get waylaid down this path or down that path. And, do I really mean it? Do I really believe that? Are ghosts the same as angels? And, I can have those conversations, but I can't say, I need to believe this before I die. It's a personal journey. Spirituality, if you don't have that, then I'm just drawing a boat. You know what I'm saying? I'm just drawing a boat. It isn't a story about the boat. There's no life. There's no spirituality. So I walk that journey every day.
And you discovered that journey each time you revisited that journey each time you became ill and faced it.
You know what? I'd like to say that because that sounds so profound, but not really. Not really, because first of all, I didn't ever believe I was going to die, even when everybody was freaking out. I always had this rule, I need to spend my energy getting better. I can't spend my energy making you feel better about me feeling bad. So no, it did not occur that way, because for me that'd be wrong. Like, let's get all profound and meaningful on what they think is your deathbed. I never thought that in the first place, but for me, that's just wrong. You don't call this moment in a relationship, for one thing. Like, this is the second right now that either it works or it doesn't work. It's been either working or not working the whole time, and you're just realizing it, but it's a process. So for me, that was a pause in the process. I didn't stop and say, God, please save me, anything like that. What was going to happen was going to happen, and that's just how I look at things.
That's a great answer. And passions are obviously important to you. Can people live without passions, you think? And especially as we get older, when we're done working and we don't feel the pressure anymore to accomplish that kind of a thing. Do you think passions are important as we get older?
I think that you discover over time, but a life without passion is not authentic. You're not being real. You're not giving what you can to that experience. You're not opening yourself up to anything else. You're not being authentic. So, what you do, like people would say, art is my passion. And yes, that's true. But this particular piece at that time is my passion. It's right there. It's in the moment. I'm an intuitive painter, so boom, right there is my passion in that moment. Now, you can't give that level of passion every single second of your life because it would make you nuts. But that's what happens to artists, real artists. And I'm not talking about the boat painters. And God bless the boat painters because they're beautiful and that's wonderful. But I have no passion for me, like flat experiences. If I meet somebody and it's, hello, what do you do for a living? And that's always the thing at these parties, what do you do for a living? Now when they say, what do you do? I say, about what? About what?
Yeah, I hate that question too. I don't think, sometimes I just don't think it matters what people do. Get to know them first before.
Well, it shouldn't define you. Like your job should not define you. Like I wouldn't let Steve tell people what I did for a living at parties. I made him stop it because conversation stopped once they knew. And it wasn't like, oh, you were a prostitute or something, but I was middle school principal. And it's like everybody thought they were going to get detention if they talked to me too long. I have no idea. But it changed the conversation totally. Parents started asking me about their kids and what about this learning experience? Do you think that teacher's doing the right thing? You know, your job should not define you. I think art can define you, okay? If I had known my real authentic self during those years, I wouldn't have said I'm a principal. Right? It was a role. I had to put on a uniform. That's what I called it, these suits. Yeah, as soon as I was done with that job and retired from it, I threw them all away. I gave them away to the charities. Oh, right. You know, it's something you put on to get the money from that job. Yeah, I was not that job. I was a teacher. You know, I feel like I'm still a teacher.
So you retired from, oh, sorry. That's good.
It's
So you mentioned you retired from teaching. How long were you there, and what was your image of what you wanted to do in retirement?
Well, I was kind of forced to retire at age 52. I flowed through life sometimes in double leg braces, sometimes in one. I'm actually supposed to wear one on my left, and I refuse at this point. So at different points, I'm disabled, and you would be shocked what a mess I can be. So at that time, I had to ride a scooter. I had, that was double leg braces at the time. I know. People always say, well, you look so good. And I'm like, no, so I retired. Yeah, it wasn't something where, ooh, yippee, I retired. That was a big emotional adjustment. Like I refused to go to this retirement party. You know, the district said, well, your teachers absolutely love you. They want to be able to say goodbye. And I said, well, someday that might be okay, but right now I'm not celebrating. So that was not a huge joy point in my life. So that was another biggie, you know, what am I going to do with myself?
What do people, I mean, what's the image of, I think retirement, the word retire can have so many connotations. What was your plan for retirement, if you had a plan?
Well, see, at that point, at age 52, I didn't feel like I needed a plan, but things were like going downhill, and I just couldn't do my job the way I needed to do my job. So I I hadn't considered what will I do next. I did think I was going to have so much more time with Steve, and, he wasn't much of a traveler. I thought, well, let him go golfing, I'll go do something. But I had no plans at that point. I really did not.
And now you can't even call yourself retired because now you're just living life.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, what are you retiring from? You just stopped doing that job. What is it you're retiring from? Lots of people, I find, especially out here on a lake, I'm retired, and so what I'm going to do is drive around in circles in my boat every night and have cocktails because that's how I'm retired. In a lake defines itself. This is a little community, this little street of 14 houses with our miniature donkeys and chickens and bunnies, and it's different. So everybody retires differently. Like Barb with the donkeys, that's how she retires. It's like, how many ways are there to die? That's right? That's the number of ways to retire. And for some people, in my perspective, they kind of just die off doing the same stuff. Getting people here to go downtown, first of all, people don't talk to each other. I actually knocked on Barb's door when her husband died. I didn't know her at all. I said, hi, I'm Sue. My husband died too. I know exactly what you're feeling. And good or bad, take it as a threat or don't, I will never leave you alone. And I haven't. So I started connecting all the neighbors. That's kind of my job in life, I think, getting people together. So I started putting them together, and I called Barb one day, and I said, we're going to go somewhere. And she said, well, where are we going? I said, just don't wear jeans. I'm like, where we're going is none of your business. So I put her in the car, took her to the art museum and out to eat, at the restaurant right down there. But I had to do that with these people because the culture out here is let's go sit on a bar stool, that kind of thing.
Our air came back on.
Why?
What comes to mind when you hear the word old?
Some of my furniture got old. We called it dead people furniture because, he never let me buy anything new. So, Uncle Frank died, so I got their couch. And that's old. Antiques are old. People get more experience. Like, okay, my Aunt Marge is 99 and fell down, but she wouldn't wear this life alert thing. She said, because that's for old people. Old is a state of mind. She's going to be 100 in September. Okay, and she's still got her mind. She still reads. She can still talk to you about things, but she's not old. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't sit in a chair vegetating because somebody's over medicating her. She didn't stop being herself. You can make yourself old. Okay, you can sit back and say, this hurts and that hurts. I can't get up today, or I'm not going to do anything, That's old. It's a state of mind.
So you don't feel old in your 60s?
Oh, hell no.
So at what age will you feel old?
That's what I'm saying. Aunt Marge is not old and almost 100. But I'm too big. I'm too big inside to ever get old. I don't see it happening to me. It's just not going to happen. You're gonna find you don't have the right questions for me.
I have plenty of questions for you, sister.
God.
So what would you say the next phase of life looks like for you?
Well, I find that every decade is different. You can almost define, these are the baby years, these are college years, la 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 la. In the 60s, you can start cutting loose and, like I said, being yourself. So moving forward into the 70s, since I'm not there, I can't say that, but I'm gonna get to do things. You know, I will travel more when I'm healthy and I can get away with it. I run amok as much as I can. I have people trying to give me rules. I have a doctor that's like, she's known me forever, and she's like, I know you're not going to listen, but this is my job. I have to say this. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I pay you to keep me alive. That's your job. So I know I can't say, the next period is going to be this way. Life happens to you. You open yourself up just like our mental capacity or your capacity for spirituality, for understanding processes of life. It's a process. You develop and you change, and if you don't, then you're dying. Then you're getting old. Then you look forward to, well, in the 70s, I'm going to decline. By the 80s, I won't be able to do this, Then you can decide when you're dying, basically. It's like, did you know this? In the year 2000, as soon as January 1st came 2000, they had more deaths in New York City than in their history of record keeping, because people wanted to see the turn into the new century. Yeah. There's that will to live, and statistically that's an evidence, but you can see people give up. When they give up, and you can give up at any point in your life you want to. When you say that, people just don't progress. They're stuck.
Why do you think people do give up?
I think when you can't see a way to overcome, when you refuse to see a way to overcome. You can have cancer. I had cancer, and you can say, oh, God, I stayed angry. I called it the FC, and you know what the F is for, so I won't just go there because you'll cut it out anyway. So the FC, and I was sicker than going through this, but my mind doesn't stop. So I was creating my line of FC accessories, scarves with the FC going around. So you could either tell somebody or not tell someone what that was for. And the doctors loved it. They gave me a whole bunch of surgeon caps, and it's like, please put that on there for us. So I could have decided to give in to that sickness because I was that sick. I could have.
Did you do the FC apparel? Did you ever do anything with the FC? That sounds so familiar to me.
I'm sure there's been, you're not the only one that invents something. However, there is something I am going to do. People won't wear those. I shouldn't even say this, right? I'm like giving it away. But the FC jewelry, everything disabled is plastic and ugly. If I put it in a jeweled pendant, if I put it in a nice watch, people would wear that across the world. They would wear that. You put on that plastic thing and you're like screaming, I'm disabled, I might fall and not get up, So, right?
Indeed.
See, my mind never shuts up. It never frickin' shuts up.
Oh, that's okay though.
Well, yes and no. When you can't sleep and it's like, oh, well, I could do this with that, or,
Well, to me that just seems like you're alive and your brain is working and you're thriving on life. And
Oh, I am. I definitely am. I have fun all the time. I call myself a party of one.
And I saw something on Facebook that you said, if it's not fun, I ain't doing it.
That's right. That's my rule. And I don't accept negative. So when people want to whine about the same thing over and over, I will say to them, is there something I can do to help that stop in your life? I said, I don't think there is. So you're a smart person. I wish you luck with that. Let me know how it turns out. You can't keep going there with people.
Do you think as people get older, as we approach 60 and, 60 plus, that there's a lot of people out there afraid of turning 60 and whining about it and just, it's the worst thing in the world, and, you know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to party. It's, that kind of stuff. I don't want anybody to know. The people women especially, that lie about their age. Very young, Grandma Dowling told me, you be proud of your age, no matter how old you get, you be proud. I'm proud I'm still alive. I get to say, yeah, I hate that word survivor though. That makes me crazy. I survived cancer. You get up in the morning, you know what, you survived the night. Shut up. And it's just wrong. Just wrong.
If you could give advice to younger people about turning 60 and or getting older, what do you think you would say to them?
I would say at any age, you be open to becoming what you can be, getting every bit of information you can out of a situation. It isn't the number, it's the stories. Are you still collecting stories? If you're stuck on the same story, like I know someone at age 65 still talks about the childhood. My brother had this and my parents that. It's like, get a psychiatrist, If you're stuck on the same story and you don't move forward, you're making a mistake. So I would just tell them, continue to collect stories, add them to your own and make your own.
Making memories.
Right.
Making memories.
So you be careful what they are. Be careful what they are with people. You watch what you say. You think about what you say. You think about who you say it to. There's some people you can just cut loose with, and others, they're fragile.
So they shouldn't be afraid of getting older?
I don't think so.
Because society tells us at certain ages, like you're 40, you're 50, you're 60, it's like, well, you're almost dead, you're almost this, you should be doing this at this age, you should be doing that at that age. It's like...
Well, they want to define you because that's safe. It's predictable, it's understandable. They don't understand the wild card, And to me, that's why I'm the wild card. When you're with me, I have a neighbor, Tony, who says to me, I never say no to you. When you say, do you want to go? You don't even have to finish the sentence. I will go because I take her to things she wouldn't normally go to. Like one night when I was doing that series, I called it the pain series, when I fell in Europe. And this ankle turned all the way in. I fractured my elbow, bruised my sciatic nerve, just made a hot mess out of myself. So I'm going berserk with bandages, and it's after 10 at night, and I'm out of bandages. And I called Tony, and I'm like, Tony, you're a nurse. You must have bandages. Do you have bandages? And she started to say, what do you need them for? She's like, never mind. So she comes over here like a half hour later, and I'm going nuts in my studio trying to, keep my brain on the same page. She had gone to any store that was open, grabbing rolls of stuff to bring to me. So you don't say no to Sue.
Duly noted. I have a question formulating in my head. I'm not sure how it's going to come out. Is there something about yourself now at 60 plus that you wish you would have known, or that you like about yourself now that you didn't like about yourself, say when you're 25 or 30? I don't know if that's the right way to ask it, but...
Well, I think you find more things about yourself that are unacceptable. Like, I was way more concerned about how I looked then. So now, if I don't have makeup on, la-di-da, I'm not looking at it, you are. It's your problem, it's not mine. So no, you worry about that sort of stuff, like when you're trying, before you're married, okay, this is where you go on a date and it's not you, it's your, I think it was, I forget, the comedian said, it's not you, you sent your representative. And your representative is, bringing forth the best possible you. Eventually people figure out that's that's not right. That's not who you are. So I think you're more worried about the outside
Yeah.
than,
I had a girlfriend who was dating a gentleman, quick story, and she always wore a lot of makeup, and she would wake up in the morning and put that makeup on quickly before he woke up, so she would always look the same like 24/7. You just,
oh man, I have a girlfriend like that. Like, she's married now, but with this other guy, it's like for the first time they were going to go away for a weekend, and I know how she was. And I'm like, so what happens when you're sleeping with him? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, hair's always perfect. The makeup, you're going to, she's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to let him see me without makeup.
so we don't have to do that now.
I said, I do it if I want to.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. I do it if I want to. You know, it's not, I'm not doing it for you. So that you can look at something like that. And I clean up okay, you know. So I'm going to a wedding, I'll clean up and spend the time doing that.
So with age comes that freedom that we can decide for ourselves. Like everything that we didn't feel comfortable doing. We like I say, we always had to try to impress people. Now we're just doing it for ourselves.
Except for certain things.
Right.
Shaving your legs and whatnot. I want to know why I have to take off every spot of hair because why? Because society says that's what women do. You know, I want to tell a man to do that. You know, just before you see me, could you like shave everything? You know, you look everywhere and you make sure I'm not catching, you know, hair anywhere.
I have one more. I have one more question, and Dennis may have some questions. But if there's anything I missed, you know, in this conversation, in this interview, that you think you need to share with us or want to share with us about getting older, turning 60?
I am hoping that the experience between men and women at this stage of the game has changed to honest relationships. You know, we're not trying to be something for somebody else. For example, and I have to throw this one in there, I could have gotten reconstructed and, you know, insurance has got to pay for it. It's a couple of surgeries, and this doctor said to me, well, you could have the body you always wanted. I'm like, wow. I'm like, you know what? If there is a man that cannot accept me for what I am, that's not the man for me. I said, I am never coming back here. So I hope there is that kind of honesty, that I don't have to hide who I am to make somebody else more comfortable with it. So now it's a personal choice. I don't begrudge anybody who does it, but for me, there's no frickin' way I do that now.
Dennis, anything to add?
No, I do not. Fantastic.
So the final question.
Oh, yay.
He laughs every time. What is the capital of Utah?
Salt Lake City.
Awesome. You cheated on that, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I don't need to. I'm a grown-up. I know things.
Thank you very much.
You're going to regret that you said that because that's really lame.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing
That's what I mean.
Right.
The good bullshit conversations are over. Like Steve had this thing I called Steve's Weird Science. I'll give you an example. Okay, so it's freezing outside. Okay, so for him, Mr. OCD, you must start the car before you open the garage door. And I'm like, why? And then you get this convoluted string of things. Well, because of the temperature in the garage will drop, and when it drops and I'm opening the door to come outside, all of that cold air is going to come inside, and the heat is going to kick in, and our heating bill is going to go up. And I'm like, wow, all of that in like 3 seconds of time.
I used to get that all the time. The refrigerator's doors open too long. like everything's gonna melt and thaw and.
But see, now somebody else would have been on the internet going, no,
Right,
that's not.
right.
It would take 45 seconds for that to happen, or what? The bullshit, the good bullshit is gone. Well, even the stupid bullshit, because it was funny.
Right.
He didn't think it was funny, but it was funny.
It's very funny.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that idea though. That's just bullshit stuff.
The good bullshit conversation is
Wow.
gone.
I see many good bullshit conversations in our future.
Well,
Don't you think?
a few wines down. The bonfire makes you instantly more intelligent.
Of course.
It's like when people drink, they think they can sing. Let's all do karaoke.
Oh, I can't believe karaoke's still around. It's been like 25, 30 years.
Yeah, I had friends who had their own system, and there were like chords everywhere, so that drunk people could get up there and pretend they could sing.
Can we just have people over and just do nothing except drink and talk stupid? You know what I mean? Do we have to be playing
I
games
know.
all the time and
You can't talk anymore.
you're not allowed to talk?
No,
Just
and I
please.
like it when people sing and the words are wrong, and they sing them the same. Okay, RESPCT, whatever.
Right.
What does it say after that? Right? Everybody had a different version. It's like,
Who doesn't know
no,
that?
it was like this.
Who doesn't know that? Those lines. That line.
The one right after.
RESPECT found out what it means to me.
Keep going.
That's all I know. I'd have to.
Okay, and what was the
Take
other one?
care of
Like
TC, take care of TCB. B or P.
and what is that? Was
Take
that
care of business.
okay?
Well, I'm 60, so I know these things.
Okay, well, the other one was like a deuce in the night. I had friends like it's
Runner
a,
in the night.
yeah, it's like no, he said douche. I'm like, why? Why in the hell would he be saying that? Makes no sense.
It's like there's a bathroom on the right.
Yeah.
I was
See?
saying that to him. I don't think he got it for a while. It's like there's a bathroom on the right. Oh, it's bad moon on the right.
Right. No. In case you're wondering, down the hall on your, it's like here. Okay, the house is not that big. People say, "Where's the bathroom?" I'm like, well, it's the room with the toilet. Okay, just walk
Do you
this
have
way.
a bathroom? I love
Walk
it. Do you
this
have
way.
a bathroom?
Yeah. Can I use your bathroom? No, I'd rather you
No.
do it right here. Could you just go ahead?
Like a dog. Just drop them.
Did you ever see that joke? The signs wet floor. The blonde saw the sign, and so she did. Wet floor.
Oh, sorry.
All right, that's a bonfire joke. Everybody would have been like, "That's so funny."
I gotta get to some of these bonfires before you pack up and move away.
Well,
I'm gonna
yeah,
talk stupid too.
I think Steve is querying every single one of these offers.
Yeah.
I do, because he doesn't.
He
He
doesn't like
loves the lake. Always loved the lake. This was his
Wow.
dream, and he had a powerful personality.
So
In fact, this is totally creepy. For 10 years, he wanted me to say that he owned me. And yeah, right? And our song was Sting's Stalker song, Every Breath You Take.
I love that.
And then he told me, okay, you had a heart attack at 50. And this guy was in perfect shape. He had a heart attack at 50. He said, if there's any way at all that I can find you after I die, I will. And I'm like, stop threatening me, man. Oh, yeah. No, big personality. So we started having this thing, Pennies from Heaven. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Well,
I
look
think
look it up on the internet.
Oh, well, can you just wait a second?
So people started finding pennies, like in odd places. Like, okay, after he dies, we're all at the hospital standing there, and we're all like looking at each other. And my daughter Allie said to me, now what? And I say, oh, we go home. I was like, just as profound in oh so many ways. What do we do now? And that became the question for a number of years. What do we do now?
That's a pretty heavy question.
It is a heavy question, but that carries through your whole life. Okay, after this, what do you do now? In oh so many ways, not what's your activity, but where do you head from here?
How many times have you asked yourself that question?
regularly.
Yeah.
What do I do now? You know, I didn't like the gallery scene where artists get screwed over, and so I started my own gallery. So now the collaborative has 8 very talented people, and everybody works together. I don't charge them any rent. Anything they earn, they keep, but any expenses we have, we split. Because for me, it was like, I don't like this, so what do I do now?
Just, can that beg the next question? Are you never content, or where do we go now? I mean,
I'm never done. I'm never done. And to say not content, maybe not satisfied. That's not enough. There's always something else.
yeah.
You know, you can't stop. You can't stop answering that question. What do I do now?
What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. So we started finding pennies anyway to circle around here. So one of the daughters goes to her car, and there's a penny on the ground, 2007 penny. That's when he died. And so, so odd things were happening. Like for the funeral, my friends from Ohio were coming, and it was hot, end of July, hot out. So I brought this table, and I was going to put the fan on it. I had to dust it off, so it's clear there was nothing on there. So I put the fan on there. Okay, they're going to leave, and my housekeeper comes, and Terry has got this like look on her face. I'm like, what is the matter? And she said, I picked up that fan, and there was a penny there. Did you put a penny there? And I'm like, why? Oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to put a penny here and put the fan. No.
Right.
So it happened all over the place. Yeah, very strange. That's what I'm saying. His personality is just like huge. And because he is buried in the lake, I can almost feel him saying, you're not selling the lake. Honest to God, I just really think he's queering every single deal. I don't think this is going to sell. I don't.
He has that much power.
Yeah. He always did. That's why I get to be me now. You know, that the force be with you. And yeah, I'm not saying it was always a bad thing, but it was huge. No, I get to be huge.
I need to be here.
I get to be huge.
Has your relationship with your daughter changed over the years? Like since your husband died, and all through all your illnesses?
The 3 of them, well, they've had to rally big time for me because I think I told you that after Steve died, it's been 8 years. 7 out of the 8 years I've been in the hospital. This year, I think I'm cruising because the medicines are good. So I'm in a furniture store. Just standing there. Cabinet this tall, picture this big, over 40 pounds, wasn't secured, comes flying off of there. I put my arm up so my ulnar nerve is entrapped in here. This gets bruised, the nerve, it's, what is that? We were married March 31st. His birthday was April 2nd. It's every March and every April. Yes. I don't know. I don't know if I can say that's spiritual, but that there's something talking here. Right? I mean, how odd is that? And so my kids know. Everybody's like, it's the end of February. Now what? Now what? And so they're so used to rallying, coming to the rescue. So they've grown tighter in those ways. So yeah, this unit we have, me and my daughters, we're a force. And they're all so different. Everybody says that they look different, their personalities are different, they're smart, they're all pretty. Versus never did, stupid or ugly. Nice, but true.
Do you feel like the power from Steve is a hindrance to you, or is it a source of comfort, or would you like to say, just stop it, let me really live my life?
Right now, I have to say, I've been at the end of the pier at night, and I don't care who heard me. I'm yelling inappropriate language. Leave me alone, But my dreams are vivid. Like he's sitting there this live. So I come down the stairs. I've had this one a number of times, and he's got the newspaper up with the old Fred Flintstone furniture. I called it because he was big. So he's got the paper up, and I come down the stairs, and I'm thinking in my head, if you put me through all this shit and you're still alive, I'm gonna kill you. So I'm like, Steve, and he puts the paper down. Yeah. Aren't you dead? He's like, of course. I'm like, well, what are you doing here? And he said, I like to see what's going on from time to time. And like when I was going to considering having that surgery, I did have it scheduled at one point. He came in my dreams like maybe a week before this was scheduled. And he said to me, okay, this will be number 11 and 12 for you, major surgeries. The rest of them weren't your choice. This one is. And this one will take you out. I called in the morning and I canceled it. I did. Yeah.
You're still listening. You're still listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
Paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Well, he forces me to. I've gone on with my life. I'm okie dokie fine. But every once in a while, this, like it's rising up around me and going. Everybody that knows me says, my friend Larry is like, you got to start listening to what does that mean? Right. Every spring, what does that mean?
It's him, he's still there. He's still walking beside you? Or do you think
I think he's looming. He's looming once.
He's hovering.
Yeah. Well, not all the time. Not all the time at all. But when you go to the end of that pier for family in particular, it's like you feel him. No, it's powerful.
Do you think bad things would happen if you did leave here? Would he follow you to wherever your next place of residence would be?
Oh, for sure.
He's not letting you go. He's not letting you go.
As promised.
As promised.
As promised. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Do you think that holds you back at all from falling in love or any,
I think it's kept me from some mistakes, really, where, I was dating this guy that was really not the right thing, but I gave it a chance. And again, I had a dream, and he came and sat on the couch next to this person, and he looks up at me and just goes, like that.
Really?
Uh-huh. Anyway, it was right. I mean, it could be just me processing,
Yeah.
right? And I processed through him, but I'm not the only one that feels this present. And I'm not. His brother Buck, he is really, really close to Steve. Really close. He and I cried together for 3 years.
Huh.
He would come out here, and I'm like, Buck, this has to stop. You're ruining relationships. This has to stop.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea how
Yeah.
I would handle that. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yeah, no, it's, when you flipped it before, I could see, like you said, something different completely.
Well,
I looked at him, but she just
you didn't really see him.
didn't really see him. No.
No, my kids would grow up with me going, we'd lay on the, earth and look up, and it's like, oh, I see a dinosaur. No, that's this or that. And now they see that in my work. Lots of people do. They'll argue about what they see. How can you not see that? That's a horse right there. How can you not see that?
Do you show these at any of the art gallery nights and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I was in the 3rd ward for 2 years, and I got out of that gallery because, they were charging money every month. And
What gallery?
San Reme in the Marshall building.
Okay.
It's on the lower level.
Right.
So I got out of there. That's when I decided I'm just going to start my own. I don't like the way this is going.
Oh, yeah. Again, being yourself,
That's right.
doing what feels right and is satisfying to you.
That's right. Like I said, art is about me. You know, you like it, you like it. I don't really care.
Yeah.
I keep creating it for me. Well, you tell me
That's cool,
whenever.
Yeah, keep going. I'm just picking up some different shots there.
Okay. All right. Now, when I start this, I'm gonna put it on the floor. When I do the gessoing, I'll have like 15 and more, like all over the floor. Like these are gesso prints.
Okay.
And this is newspaper.
Right?
So I will either twist it or you get it soggy and you put it on there. These were the first where I was taking gesso and just throwing it down. I was going berserk. It was awesome. Lots of fun. So those have to dry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those dry, and again, you know, you can stop at any point. However, okay, now this is an artist talking. Remember that. It tells me what it is. It tells me when to stop. If I want to put a color or something on there that it does not want, I almost have to be like, and I talk. I'll be like, okay.
Or is that Steve telling you?
Okay. No, definitely not.
Okay. It's all you.
Now, when my kids lived with me, my bed, we had this ginormous king-size bed, and he had a TV in here. Well, I took all that out of there. When they moved out, I did this. So, all right, now Scottish Skies. This one, I watch TV. Because I don't watch TV at all. So I actually had it downstairs for a long time. So this one, okay, you can see the throwdown stuff, but all of this, I paint with my hands, okay? So this is all fingers. And then I rub in different colors and different things come out. I see things. Okay, but okay, normal person is looking down when they see that. I see up. So when I did this, I'm seeing the sky. I'm feeling Scotland because that's all open skies. It's like sheep and sky. And I came home and I was working on this series at the time, and I don't know even how many of those are, but I had to stop. I'm like, yeah, I get to do this. I have to have this. Awesome. And somebody in Florida, when I put a couple up on Facebook, wanted this. And I'm like, the shipping is going to be at least as much as the painting. Oh. So she picked out 2 other ones that I shipped. So, but I turn them as I paint them. Let me see what this one is. There are so many. Okay. These are part of that series that are not done. But my problem when I set them aside is getting back to that particular emotional state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so
exactly.
I'm not touching this until my head is there. Okay, like this. All right, now some people look at this stuff and be like, ooh, I see a fish, or they start watching for things. Because for me, you watch my art. I think it should be like in a dentist's office, where you just, you know, you're just like, I'm looking at something here. What is that?
Well, yes, I have pieces that every time I look at it, I do see something different.
Mm-hmm.
See, now here, you said fish, and I immediately saw like a cat's face.
Okay.
Or a dog.
Yeah, so that's what I do. But this was the first series where I was doing the gesso throwdown. But you know, every series is different. Some are really tight, like that one I call Mike is in the Pink. That's right there. Because when I did that one, it was like, you know, the layer of all pink was there. And my friend Mike comes up and he goes, whoa, that's a lot of pink. And I said, right now it is. So I call that Mike is in the Pink. Now, all of these names are kind of funny, too, because it's whatever is on my mind at the time. So what the heck is this one? I don't even remember. The shades are open. Okay.
And when do you give them a name? When you're completely done?
When it tells me it's done.
Okay.
I can't touch them before that. When it's done, it's done. Now, sometimes when I move on and I have like this, I haven't finished painting the sides yet because I wanted to get at that. If I come back to those at this stage of the game and they're not named, like these aren't named, my friends over, give them a glass of wine. I'm like, all right, we're pretending this is your particular painting. It's your problem. It's your problem.
It's your problem.
Well, which way should I face it? I was like, I really don't care. So if you look at this one, I know, how funny.
So do you give them the glass of wine and then that's your painting for them to name?
Yeah. So
And then have they come up with names that you have stuck with?
always,
Always?
because it's not my problem anymore.
Oh.
See, I'm done with it. That was done.
I love that.
So, alright, so we have to have somebody come in and name these. So,
That's funny.
I know. So for
That's
me,
a good way to do it.
for the most part, it's whatever is going on at the time. So some of these, I wonder if that one has a name. This was one of the pain paintings. Where when I fell and made a total wreck out of myself, like this is bandages. Okay. Let me see. I must have called this something.
There you go.
Okay. Hit a wall. I hit a wall over there. I was such a hot mess and I didn't go to the hospital. I commented around on it 6 more days. So by the time I went in, I was in so much pain. I'm like, whatever you want to do, I don't care. Just...
Yeah.
And my doctors were like, well, you did nerve damage now. You did this or that. And I'm like, yeah, but I went to the Picasso Museum. La, 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 la. I did what I wanted.
There you go. See?
Well, that's it. That's it. At this stage of the game, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it.
Not fun, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one the way it is. I like the whitish, I don't know.
Well, that's what I always say to people. You buy it now because it's not staying.
It's not staying that way.
No,
No, that just
it will
looks cool.
become something else.
All right. Okay.
So I like to bring the grandkids up here too.
Yeah.
You know, but the deal with them is there's a grandma piece and there's your piece. You're going to learn something from me and you're going to try it with my music on. And here's yours. You can do whatever you want and listen to whatever music inspires you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that probably works.
It does.
Why would it not work? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right. Do you do that with your adult friends?
No.
I kind of knew
Everybody wants to do it. Or they.
I kind of knew the answer was going to be no. Why did I know that?
Well, you know, I don't want to teach. I don't want to teach art because abstract says
Yes.
I can't teach that.
Right.
Nor could I repeat one of these. Like somebody says, "Oh, I really like that one. Could you do it in more blues?"
Exactly.
And like,
Exactly. Can you do it to match my sofa?
no. No. And I like my art to fight each other. You know, like I can't be like, here's a piece here, and this one is totally different, so I can't put it next to that. No, they can have a conversation. They can fight with each other.
Okay.
I don't care. I don't care.
Not my problem. It's
No,
your
it's
problem.
not my problem.
It's that pieces of art's problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm done with you. That's it. Yeah, you just carry on.
I think you're I'm so glad I picked you up at Summerfest. No, seriously. You're just, I don't know, you're an awesome person.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No, you say it back to me.
You know what?
I'm totally kidding.
Oh, well, I've spent all my time talking, so, but I wouldn't have found you. See, I can see people. I'm good. I'm a good reader of people.
I remember what you said to me, though, that day. You said, you're the gold I found today.
That's right.
And that was...
That's right.
Nobody has ever said anything remotely like that.
But it's truth.
Good crying.
No, it's truth. You've got that in you. You can do whatever you want, and you found this. You found the topic. You found the people. You found yourself in it. You found it. You found the gold. I just recognized it.
I'll pay the $50 later. Thank you. Oh, I thought, no.